Good afternoon. Lambda based design rules. So setting out mask dimensions along a size independent way, mid and co-way provided these rules. The lambda is a unit and it can be of any value. According to this rule, the line width separations and extensions are expressed in terms of lambda. Mask layout is designed according to the lambda based design rule. Nowadays lambda is nearly equal to 14 mm. So before there is one more concept, that is a stick diagram. So stick diagram, we can say it is a cartoon of the layout conveying a layer information through the use of color code or monochrome encoding. The monochrome encoding are black and white lines. So the VLSI design aimed to translate a circuit concept onto a silicon, and the stick diagram are the mean of capturing a topography and layer information. That is a simple diagram. Stick diagram convey layer information through color codes, or we can say, or monochrome encoding. So design rules for this stick diagram are: allow translation of the circuit, usually in the stick diagram or symbolic form, into actual geometry in silicon. The interface between the circuit designer and fabrication engineer. Then lambda based design rules consist of design rules based on the single parameter, that is the lambda. Then simple for the designer, wide acceptance. It provides a feature size independent way of setting out a mask. If design rules are obeyed, the mask will produce a working circuit. The minimum feature size is defined as a 2 lambda. It is used to preserve a topological features on chip, and it prevents a shorting, opens the contact from slipping out of area to be contacted. Then design rules. The manufacturing process have inherent limitation in accuracy and repeatability. The design rules specify a geometry of the mask that provide a reasonable yield. So design rules are determined by experience. Now there are some problems while manufacturing, like photoresist shrinking or tearing, variation in material deposition, variation in temperature, variation in oxide thickness, impurities, variation between the lots, variation across the wafer. So there are some advantages of these generalized design rules. Ease of learning because they are scalable, portable and durable. Also longevity of the design that are simple, abstract and minimal clutter. Increase designer efficiency and automatic translation to final output. So the physical mask layout of any circuit to be fabricated using any process like NMOS, PMOS or CMOS, which must satisfy a set of geometric constraints or the rules which is known as design rules. So objective of this design rule is to allow a ready translation of the circuit design concepts in stick diagram or a symbolic form into actual geometry in silicon. The design rules are interface between the circuit designer and the fabrication engineer. These design rules specify minimum allowable line width for physical object on chip like metal, polysilicon, interconnects or diffusion areas, small feature size and small separation between the feature. The layout design rule represents reasonable optimum point in terms of width, reliability and density. The layout design rule significantly increases the probability of fabricating a successful product with high yield. There are usually two kinds of design rules. A layout drawing require the physical structure of the circuit. Each layer in CMOS fabrication like polysilicon layer or metal layer are designed with a different mask. Whenever any circuit is manufactured in any foundry that is a particular process, there are geometrical constraints called design rules and they are classified as micron rules and lambda rules. So micron rules in which the layout constraints such as minimum feature size and minimum allowable feature specification are stated in terms of absolute dimension in micrometer. And lambda rule means it specifies the layout constraint in terms on a single parameter that is lambda, and this allows the linear proportional scaling of all geometrical constraint nomenclature of layout component. So if for layer and diffusion the symbol is ND, the minimum dimension is 3 and the color for 3 this is green. Then for P diffusion symbol P diff, minimum dimension 3 and color is brown. Polysilicon symbol poly, minimum dimension 2 and color is red. Then standard cell library. The standard cell libraries are required by almost all CAD tools for the chip design. The standard cell libraries contain a primitive cell required for digital design, so more complex cells that have been specially optimized can also be included. The main purpose of the CAD tool is to implement the so-called RTL to GDS flow. The input to the design process in most cases is the circuit description at the register transfer level, or we can say RTL level. Final output from the design process is full chip layout, mostly in the GDS2 format, to produce a functionally correct design that meets all the specification and constraint. Require a combination of different tool in the design flow. These tools require a specific information in different format for each of the cells in the standard cell library provided to them for the design. Then the format which are explained here are for condensed tools. So similar information is required for other tool suits: physical layout, logical view, abstract view, timing, power, and parasitic. So this diagram shows the standard cell library format. So the standard cell library format, it consists of a Verilog description or schematic plus here is a spice netlist is also shown. So standard cell libraries it determine the overall performance of the synthesized logic. The synthesis engines rely on a number of factors for optimization. The cell library should be designed catered slowly towards the synthesis approach. So here are some guidelines: a variety of drive strength for all the cell, larger varieties of drive strength for inverter and buffer, cell with balanced rise and fall delay, same logical function and its inversion as separate output within the same cell, and complex cell, that is high fanning cells. A variety of flip-flop, both positive and negative age triggered, preferably with multiple drive strength, single or multiple output available for each flip-flop, flops to contain different input for set and reset, then variety of latches, both positive and negative level sensitive, several delay cells useful for fixing hold time violations, and to enable a scan testing of the design, each flip-flop should have an equivalent scan flop. Then the next is circuit extraction. So the convert layout geometry to the circuit netlist. Here a diagram is shown. Uh, the goals are verify that the layout matches circuit and assume layout passes DRC. It determine actual circuit parasitic back anode and resimulate. Use minimum CPU time, memory, integrated extractor plus layout editor. This circuit extraction program is an extension of a design rule checking. So its circuit extractor perform a job of component and wire extraction. The circuit extractor produces a net list, and this net list contains the transistor in the layout and the electrical nets which connect their terminal. The circuit extractor is generally used to measure parasitic resistance and capacitance on the wire. For the semiconductor manufacturer and the chip designer, we need to provide a mask database. Then the mask database is actually the interface between the semiconductor manufacturers and chip designer. For this mask database, two basic checks have to be completed to ensure that this database turn into a working chip. The first check is based on the specified geometry design rules, and these program check the geometrical rule of the mask database. The second check is for the interrelationship of the mask. To check these two requirements, two basic CAD tools are required, namely a design rule check or DRC program and a mask circuit extraction program. To implement these tools, it's provide a set of subprogram that perform a general geometry operation. So there are set of DRC rules, that is design rule check, and extraction rules for the given CMOS process, and these rules are provided by a specification of operation that must be performed on each mask. So design rule check means the design rule checker looks for a design rule violations in the layout, and the DRC program check the CMOS rule while laying out different layers on the grid, such as minimum size of the layer, minimum spacing between the two layers. DRC ensures that the combination of the layer form a legal component. After laying out layers, design rule checker program is executed, and it shows the results in the form of highlight on the top of the layout. Microvine user DRC, which provide online design rule checking. Now here extraction algorithm is shown. So circuit elements are transistor, capacitor, resistor and inductors. Now here is an electrical rule check. Electrical rule check. So electrical rule checking is, or we can say it as a ERC. It is a methodology which is used to check the robustness of design both at schematic and layout level against a various electronic design rules. These design rules are often project specific and developed based on knowledge from a previous step outs or in anticipation of a potential new failures. So ERC rules are power estimation, transistor ratio checkers, short circuit and isolated circuit, miscellaneous electrical rules. So in that the first is power estimation. The power estimation. So metal wires that are required to carry too much power suffer a metal migration in which the atoms move within the wire, leaving a break in the conductor, and typical process rules specify the number of amperes per unit width of the wire. The standard IC package can handle dissipations up to a few watt. New packaging designs employ heat fines and other cooling methods to allow a greater power dissipation. So here the first diagram shows the NMOS power configuration, and second a coupling consideration in power estimation. Next is transistor ratio checker. So when doing a VLSI layout, it is necessary to scale a transistor so that they function effectively relative to each other. In order to achieve a proper logic transition or a threshold voltage, it must be crossed, and the speed at which this happens is determined by the relative scales or the ratios of the driving components. The problem is particularly important in NMOS design because an imbalance exists between rising and falling transition time. So to ensure such a circuit will operate correctly, on analysis of a relative transistor ratio must be done. Now the next is short circuit and isolated circuit. The short circuit and isolated circuit. Short circuit is the path between any two unconnected nets, such as from power to ground. The detection of direct path is simply a process of ensuring that the nets are distinct. Often this is done during the node extraction, when a simple test of the net numbers will tell the truth. So it is important to check to ensure that no transistor get power and ground signals. Though this configuration is not static short circuit, it does not make electrical sense. And the last is miscellaneous electrical rules. So there is an unending number of specialized electrical rules. When two output signals connect such that their value combine, they are called tied outputs. This may be purposeful, but it may also be an error. Microwave circuit boards require that the wire be tapped to prevent incorrect impedance condition. Some design environments limit the number of components that an output signal can drive, or the number of input line that a component can accept, that is fan in limitation. So ERC rule check for things such as floating gate, wrong transistor connection, that is source and drain connected together, for instance floating interconnect or metal poly, short drain and source of MOS, no substrate or well contact, different contact of the substrate or well are connected to different nets, distance of MOS to next substrate, well contact to large. So this is all about the ERC rules.